assigned by your parent tonight. This test is going to cover inequalities and equations and graphing those equations. So in this first one, sometimes you have a model. This one happens to give you a key. You need to write the equation and solve it. There are several free response questions on the test. So if I wrote this, this is a positive 1x. So I have 3 of them. I have 2 positive whole numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's. And these are negative because they're shaded in, so minus 8. So remember our steps, we need to move our variables to one side. We talked about moving the smaller if possible. So now we have 2 equals 2x minus 8. Now it looks like a basic 2-step equation. Undo the add, subtract, and then undo multiply, divide. So x equals 5. It is always a good idea to make sure you plug that into your equation and check. So I can say 3 times 5 plus 2 is equal to 5 times 5 minus 8. And I got a true statement, which means I did do it correctly. So please make sure you're checking in the calculator. Jacob and his brother Evan each decide to save their allowance to buy their mom a nice present. Jacob already has 30 and will save $10 each week. Remember, each is a multiply word. Evan has 50 and will save $5 each week. How many weeks will both brothers have this same amount? So Jacob needs to be equal to Evan. So Jacob's expression will be 30 plus 10 weeks is equal to Evan's expression, 50 plus 5 weeks. And again, same steps as up here. Move the smaller variable if possible. Sometimes that's not, but if you can, go with it. So 30 minus 5w equals 5. Inverse add, subtract equals, oh, I'm sorry, this was a positive, my fault. Equals 20. Inverse, multiply, divide, w equals 4. So again, feel free, provided you've written this correctly, you should be able to plug this in and get a true statement, which we did, so we're good. We haven't talked about angle measures since 6th grade. However, that's not really important here. The fact that says they are congruent. So remember, congruent means they're equal. So really, this is just another way to write an equation with variables on both sides. So we're going to undo our 5x by subtracting it. 24 is equal to 9x minus 12. Inverse add, subtract. Inverse multiply, divide. X is equal to 4. And again, make sure you're plugging it in. That is a super key point. I cannot stress to you enough. Most of you have been doing that throughout this unit. Oh, I got false. Something went wrong. What did I type wrong? Oh, right here. 16 minus 5 is 11. I apologize. That's where I went wrong. This is why we check our work. Let me erase this and we'll do that again. Alright, so 11 divided by 11. I apologize for that. This one is actually very ugly. 36 decimal divided by 11. 3.27, you can see the 27 is repeating. And we could plug that one in, but now we know we did it correctly. But that does show that it is important that you plug in your answer. On 4, you could go through. You could get rid of your decimals if you want. These decimals aren't super ugly, so I'm going to go ahead and leave them. If you wanted to get rid of them, this is to the 10th place. You can multiply by 10. 7 is equal to 0.5x minus 5. Add 5 to both sides. 12 equals, I'm actually going to write this 1/2 x because then I can see that I'm actually dividing by 2. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. 24 is equal to x. And again, as we just saw the importance of plugging in. So 0.1 times 24 plus 7 is equal to 0.6 times 24 minus 5. True statement. Whoop-de-doo. Good job. Now, this one with the fractions, these fractions aren't super ugly. You could find a common denominator. However, and then just leave it fractions. I'm going to go ahead and multiply by that common denominator of 8 to make it go away. So I know that 8 times x over 4 is 8x over 4, which is just 2x, plus 5 times 8 is 40. 8x over 8 is just 1x, minus 8 times 3 is 24. So now I don't have those ugly fractions to deal with. X plus 40 equals negative 24 minus 40. X is equal to negative 64. And again, as we saw, we are going to plug it in. I should see you doing that tomorrow during your test. So negative 64 over 4, I forgot to make that a fraction. Negative 64 over 4. Go back to your original. You don't want to mess with the one you converted in case you did not convert it correctly. True? Yay. We're good to go. This one, all you had to do was write an equation. I'm going to assume most of you probably solved it, but you only needed to write it. Cheap rent-a-car, $25 plus 5 cents a mile. Dixon rents a car from Great Cars, $40 plus 3 cents per mile. Write the equation, find the number of miles. Both companies are the same. So I have cheap rental car needs to be equal to Great Cars, and we're going to just write our expressions. 25 plus 5 cents m, or whatever variable you're using, is equal to 40 plus 3 cents m. All you had to do was write this one. On the back, we have, again, just writing an inequality. So it talks about auto agents, car rental agencies, Right Price Auto, flat fee, $386 plus 20 cents per mile. Econo charge a flat fee of $344 plus 35 cents per mile. Write an inequality to determine the distance in miles, make the total charges. Right here, this is the part we've been practicing. Econo car needs to be cheaper, so is less than Right Price Auto. Now you can go through and write your expressions. So Econo was actually the second one. So 344 plus 0.35 m is less than 386 plus 0.20 or 0.2 m. That is all you had to do on that one. You did not actually have to go through and solve it. This one, we did a question like this on our warm-up. It says the perimeter and the area have the same value. So perimeter is equal to area. Several of you before went ahead and drew a picture. So 6 was the length. What is the width? Well, perimeter, 6 plus 6 is 12 plus 2w. Area is length times width, so that's just 6w. Move your variables to one side. Undo the multiply divide, so the width is 3. We don't actually have any units here, so we're just going to go with 3. Do plug it in, as always. We can say 12 plus 2 times 3 is equal to 6 times 3, and we get a true statement, which is what we want. The last two are graphing, where we talked about how to find a solution when we have equations on both sides. We talked about on a graph, this is the point of intersection. So read carefully. Johnny has earned $10 for edging his mother's yard, so we're going to assume that this line is Johnny. And then that would make this other line Billy. So they are earning money for mowing lawns. How many hours will it take for both boys to earn the same amount? That right there is going to tell you need your point of intersection. Notice the label. So my point of intersection is here. If I was to write that as a coordinate, it would be 420, where 4 is my hours, because that is my X, or my independent, and amount earned, so $20. So how many hours? 4 hours is the answer to this. If this was multiple choice, 20 may be a choice, so please make sure you're looking at your variables. Last one, the 2 lines are on the coordinate grid. Write the ordered pair that represents the solution to both equations. Again, we are looking for the intersection. I'm not asking you to write these equations, just what is the intersection, so I can see here's my point of intersection. Remember, it is always x and then y, so my coordinate is 1 and 3. Please let me know if you have any questions.